What's up gamers, it's TreesapJake here with yet another video, and today's video is what I'm exceptionally excited to make. It is the Shaman changes in Dragonflight, and they have actually answered all of our prayers, all of our questions, all the complaints that we've made on Twitter, absolutely everything that we have just, been clamoring for over the last sort of 2 years, especially. I mean, you can literally see it right in front of you, just up here. See where it says gust of wind? Immediately you're like, wow, great, Jake, this is exactly what I wanted. This is the kind of content I come to your channel for. This is to find out all of these. So we're gonna get stuck in. Basically, I'm just gonna have a little look through. This is basically my first time having a look through properly. So yeah, something obviously that I will say is that they'll be up in the air. This will be up in the air. There will be changes. It won't totally be the way that it is. A few are speculated. There's a few speculations. Most of these are talent changes or abilities. So we'll go through them and kind of see how things go. So some of the highlights, obviously this is the summaries. Gust of Wind may be returning due to a new talent that references it, so maybe baseline. 3 Covenant abilities looking to return for Shamans in Dragonflight. This is Chain Harvest, Primordial Wave, and Vesper Totem, which is pretty cool. A reworked Mana Spring Totem appears to be returning to for some party utility for Shamans, which is great. Earth Elemental is providing a 15% health buff while active baseline, so that's kind of like similar to the Shadowlands Conduit that allowed you to have an increase in health, which is not too bad. A reworked Ever Rising Tide, which was I suppose a BFA thing. Overcharge your mana for 8 seconds, increasing your haste by 10%, healing them by 10%. Mana regen is halted. I mean, I didn't even know that existed, but that's pretty cool. I'll take that. That's like a healing buff. Some Shadowlands legendaries and other old effects added. So that's the idea. So let's kind of get stuck in. This is the thing that kind of made them feel that Gust of Wind's coming back. It's called Go With The Flow. Reduces the cooldown of Spirit Walk, which I believe is the ability that gives you a freedom, and reduces the cooldown of Gust of Wind by 5 seconds, which is cool. So we love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. Gust of Wind is necessary. For Shamans, one of the things that we've been lacking is the ability to kite. So this is cool. I like that. This is really big. Returning Covenant abilities. Now, Chain Harvest was interesting for sure. I'm definitely a big fan of Primordial Wave, though. I think Primordial Wave is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful ability for the way us to spread flame shocks until I get damage out, and obviously for it to sort of kind of duplicate. That was really cool. I like that. I like that change. Some of the other things that we've got here is reduces the cooldown of Primordial Wave by 15 seconds, so that's quite cool. Primordial Wave increases the healing done by your next healing wave by 15%. That's interesting. And obviously Splintered Elements, which is another big thing, increasing your haste, and then Tumbling Waves, obviously 30% not to incur its cooldown. That'd be cool. I think that would be something that I'd love to see. So whether that's built in or whether or not that's, I don't know, maybe that's some other aspect of the talent tree, so we'll see. Vesper Totem, not happy to see this come back, but maybe it'll be an interesting kind of playstyle. Maybe there'll be some different sort of way that it'll work. But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of that one. I liked Primordial Wave. I think Primordial Wave was my favorite in terms of the Shadowlands abilities. Okay, so speculated general class talents. Okay, so this is just the general Shaman stuff. So Ancestral Defense, which is increased leech and avoidance, not too much of a big thing. Ancestral Wolf Affinity, Cleanse Spirit, Wind Shear, Purge, and Totems can no longer cancel Ghost Wolf, which is great. So you can kick on the go, you can keep moving, you can purge on the go, you can keep up with someone and keep purging. That's pretty OP, I think, for Resto Shamans. So that'll be interesting. While Reincarnation is off cooldown, your maximum health is increased by 10%. While you're at full health, Reincarnation cools down to 75% faster. I mean, that's a PvE thing. Astral Bulwark, Astral Shift reduces damage taken by an additional 20%. That's a 60% wall. That is insane. Love that. Love it. Call of the Elements resets the cooldowns of your most recently used totems with a base cooldown shorter than 3 minutes. This is an old talent, which I really like, so I'd love to see that coming back. Call of Thunder increases the damage of your Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, and Storm Elemental by 15%. That's, I suppose, just to buff the damage. So maybe we'll see Lightning Bolt coming back as like a baseline damage as well. Maybe it will keep up at the same time with Lava Burst, which would be dope. Deeply Rooted Elements. Now, this is interesting. Casting Lava Burst using Riptide, using Storm Strike, has a 7% chance to activate Ascendance for 6 seconds. So we've already seen this in play in this season, with the legendary. That's interesting. So I like this idea. I think Ascendance was one of the best abilities added in Cataclysm for Shamans, so I think this would be really, really cool to try. So we'll give this a go, and I think that'd be awesome. Creation Core, Call of Elements affects an additional totem, so yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what that might be. I suppose Call of the Elements was one of these ones here, so resets, I guess that resets 2. That's awesome. Resets 2 of them. Thirdly, we talked about this, increasing your maximum health by 15%. That's a really good benefit. I think that's really good. Obviously, Earth Shield is already going to be there, so I guess that's a talent choice. Earth Shock Overload instantly shocks the target with concussive force, causing, yeah, so that'll be there. I suppose that's like a second thing. I don't know why it's called Overload there, but that's interesting. Elemental Orbit increases the number of elemental shields you have active on yourself by 1. You can have Earth Shield on yourself and 1 ally at the same time. Ah, interesting. Okay, so that definitely feels like a healing thing. Elemental Warding reduces all damage taken by 3%. That would be nice. Just generally being tanky on Shaman would be awesome. Let's see what else we got. Enfeeblement. When Hex ends, the target slowed by 70%. So that was from a Shadowlands Conduit. Eyes of the Eagle. Change the caster's viewpoint to that of their companion eagle. Eagle companions. Interesting. Flash of Lightning. Casting Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning reduces the cooldown of your nature spells by 0.25 seconds. That's interesting. So what, have like a really short cooldown on Hex? Short cooldown on Lasso. That's very nice. Love to see that. Focused Insight. Casting Flame Shock reduces the mana cost of your next heal by 30% and increases its healing effectiveness by 25%. So that's a big Rest of Shaman buff. That is definitely like a healing thing. Go with the Flow, as we talked about. Gust of Wind. Greater Purge. Purges the enemy, removing 2 beneficial magic spells. Oh, baby. This is going to be strong into Rest of Druids. Okay. Interesting. That's like old school classic sort of style Purge. Guardian's Cudgel. When Capacitating Totem fades or is destroyed, another cap totem is automatically dropped in its place. That used to be something. So that, I think that was a thing in maybe Legion, where you'd have one and then it'd drop another one, which is quite interesting. Improved Call of Elements reduces the cooldown of Call of Elements by 60 seconds. Okay, so you just kind of get an instant cooldown on, I think, on like anything like Tremor, Cap Totem, Earthbind, stuff like that. That'd be cool. Inundate. Your successful Purge, Cleanse, Spirit, Healing Stream, Totem, Hex, and Windshear casts generate 8 Maelstrom. So that's obviously an LE thing. Mana Spring Totem. Summons a totem at this feat. Restores 0 mana to party members within 30 yards when you cast Lava Burst, Riptide, or Stormstrike. Okay, so basically you can keep your healer up with Mana Spring Totem. That's an interesting one. A lot of buttons to press. Obviously, Nature's Fury increases the critical strike chance of your nature spells by 4%. That's nice. Nature's Swiftness, that's coming back. That'd be cool. Your next healing or damaging nature spell is instant cast and costs no mana. Right, okay. Plains Traveler reduces the cooldown of Astral Shift by 30 seconds. That's insane. Love to see that. Poison Cleansing Totem. Summons a totem at the target location that removes 1 poison effect from a nearby party member. So that's, again, like that's something that we've had for a while. That's come back. So that's old school. That's like classic returning. Refreshing Waters, another Shadowlands Conduit. Healing Surge is 25% more effective on yourself. That's interesting. While Ghost Wolf is active, so with Spiritual Journey, the remaining cooldown of Ferro Spits recovers 200% faster. Jesus. Okay. Enhance, obviously. Stone Skin Totem, reducing physical damage. Okay, so this is kind of like a small earthen totem. Interesting. Spirit Walker's Aegis. So when you cast Spirit Walker's Grace, you become immune to silence and interrupt effects. Okay, so we already had that for Rest of Shaman. That'd be cool if you can do that for Ellie. Thunderous Paws. Ghost Wolf removes snares and increases your movement speed by an additional 25%. Huh. Okay. Once every 60 seconds. That's... I mean that. Yeah, I feel like the synergy on that would need to be good. You can probably mess that up. Totemic Focus increase the radius of all of your totems effects by 15%. Increase the duration of your Earthbind and Earthgrab totem by 10 seconds. Increases the duration of your Healing Stream totem, Mana Spring, Tremor, Poison Cleansing, and Wind Rush totem by 3 seconds. Totemic Surge reduce the cooldowns of your totems by 4 seconds. Tranquil Air totem. Pushback and reduces the duration of all incoming interrupt effects. Okay, that's interesting. Winds of Alakir increase the movement speeds of bonus of Ghost Wolf by 10%, and when you have 3 or more active totems, your movement speed is increased by another 15. Interesting. Okay, so that's the general totems. My thoughts on this is that there's a lot of great stuff in here, a lot of great stuff that makes Ellie or just Shamans in general sort of more flexible. So this will be really interesting. Now, obviously, I'm going to take a look at the elemental shaman talents here. There's obviously a few more. There'll be enhancement and everything like that, but it looks like Ellie's got quite a few. Echo Chamber increases the damage dealt by your elemental overloads by 15%. Ooh, like this. Echoes a Great Sundering, so this is a legendary. After casting Elemental Blast or Earthshock, your next Earthquake deals extra additional damage, so that's probably a PvE thing. This would be really great for Mythic Plus. Electrified Shocks. Ice Fury causes your Frost Shocks to damage up to 4 additional enemies, and targets hit take 15% increased damage from your nature spells for 4 seconds. So maybe we get Ice Fury baseline. Interesting. Chain Lightning prefers targets with these effects. Okay, so that's interesting. Elemental Blast obviously replaces Earth Shock. Ooh, replaces Earth Shock. Oh, I guess it does, says Ellie, yeah. So harnesses the raw power of the elements and deals a lot of damage. So I think this is, again, a PvE thing. Elemental Equilibrium. Okay, that's coming back. That's quite interesting. That'll be an interesting one. So just general damage uptime. Eye of the Storm reduces the Maelstrom cost of Earthquake and Earth Shock and Earthquake by 10. Reduces the Maelstrom cost of Elemental Blast by 15. Okay. That's just cooldown reduction. Oh, sorry, reduction in terms so we can get more out. Flames of the Cauldron. Flame Shock's damage over time now occurs 15% more quickly. Okay, interesting. Flames of the Firelord reduces the cooldown of Flame Shock by 3 seconds. Ooh. I don't know what that reduces. Did they give it like a 1 second cooldown? That might be really good, spreading Flame Shocks. It depends on the damage here. Like, if Lava Burst pumps really hard, then okay, cool. But if it doesn't, then maybe not so worth. But this could be really interesting. Casting Frost Shock increases the damage of your next Lava Burst by 20%. Oh, baby. That is good. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why this is probably the best talent here. Because if you play Elemental Shaman, right, you know that for certain, you're going to be pressing Frost Shock pretty much all the time into, like, anything that you're kiting. You're going to be slowing them as much as possible. My rotation most often is Frost Shock into Lava Burst, into Frost Shock, that sort of thing. As much as I can, without obviously wasting my the damage buff that you get. So that's interesting. Further beyond, casting Earth Shock / Earthquake while Ascendance is active extends the duration of Ascendance by 2 seconds. Casting Elemental Blast while Ascendance is active extends the duration of Ascendance by 3 seconds. Okay, that might actually go really well with the Ascendance proc. That might be really interesting. So every time you get like an Earth Shock out as well from just the amount of Maelstrom that you're making. High Voltage Lightning Bolt generates 2 additional Maelstrom. So that is a conduit. I wasn't a massive fan of that. Improved Lightning Bolt increases the damage dealt by Lightning Bolt by 20%. Okay, there's lots of Lightning Bolt damage buffs, which is good. Magma Chamber, the Flame Shock damage increases the damage of your next Earth Shock, Elemental Blast, Earthquake by 1%, stacking up to 4%, 20 times. What? 20% extra damage? Okay, man, a lot of like stacking modifiers. I'm gonna say this right now. I'm not a fan of stacking modifiers. I don't think this is good. I don't think good design, personally. I think stacking modifiers sucks. I'd much prefer just things have just general damage, and that's that. Like, you don't stack anything else, because you could just spread this, and then you stack loads of different things, and suddenly it's doing like random damage. So I think this would be crazy. Magma Eruption, summon a totem at the target location that hurls liquid magma. Okay, that's Magma Totem. We've had that before. Mountains will fall. Earth Shock and Earthquake can trigger your mastery at 50% effectiveness. Overloaded Earthquakes do not knock down enemies. Okay, interesting. Searing Flames, Flame Shock damage has a 100% chance to generate 2 Maelstrom. Okay, Skybreakers, this could be interesting. This could be really interesting, kind of rot spec. Skybreakers was a really interesting build to play back in Season 2. Stormkeeper, okay, Stormkeeper as a talent, we always knew that was going to be a thing. I wish it was baseline, I really do. It's a very good ability, I like it. Surging Shields, increase the damage dealt by Lightning Shield by 100%, causes it to generate an extra 5 Maelstrom when triggered. Increases the healing done by Earth Shield by 50%. Okay, interesting. That's a lot of shield stuff. It has an additional 50%. So basically, this is just increasing like the healing done by Earth Shield, which I think would be useful for self-healing, maybe for 1v1s too. And then obviously it increases the damage dealt by Lightning Shield and how much Maelstrom it gives. So maybe if you've got melee on you and you're not the main target, or there's something else on you, you can kind of put that on. You can put like Lightning Shield on, and that'd be good. Swelling Maelstrom increases your maximum Maelstrom by 50. Okay, interesting. Restoration uses, okay, so the healing surge of this, and then obviously for Elemental, it's an extra 25% as well. So exactly the same thing. So that'd be interesting. Thundershock, Thunderstorm knocks enemies up instead of away, and its cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds. Ooh. No. I mean, you want people to be knocked away, to be honest. That's the main thing about Thunderstorm. The knock up is interesting though. I wonder how that would work. I wonder if you could do it so like you knock someone up and then you're playing with a druid who like typhoons and they get shoved back the other way. That'd be interesting as hell. Tumultuous Fissures increases the chance for Earthquake to knock enemies down by 50%. Okay, interesting. Unrelenting Calamity, reduces the cast time of Lightning Bolt by 0.5 seconds, increases the damage dealt by the Chain Lightning by 20%, and its jump distance by 20%, increases the duration of Earthquake by 1 second. Okay, so like I think there's a lot kind of leaning towards Lightning Bolt taking a lot of damage, or you're able to make a build where there's a lot of Lightning Bolt damage. So you'll be doing lots of damage to Lava Burst, lots of damage to Lightning Bolt, and you'll just be rinsing people. Wind Speaker's Lava Resurgence, when you cast Earthshock, you gain Lava Surge and increase the damage of the next Lava Burst. Now this is one of the best. I love this legendary, and I think this is really good, and I think this will be really interesting to kind of have it baseline, so you can kind of just play around. So yeah, I like all of this. All of this looks good. It looks promising. It looks promising for the play style and just having fun in general. Let's have a look at the enhancement. I won't talk about resto, guys. Sorry if you're looking for restoration stuff. I will put a link down, by the way, to this in the obviously in the introduction, so you can have a little look. But I won't talk about it because I don't play Resto Shaman, but I have played Enhancement. So Flurry, increase your attack speed by 15% for your next 3 melee swings after dealing a critical strike. That's good. Focus Maelstrom. Maelstrom weapon now increases the damage or healing spells by effects by 5%. Okay, so that'll be 5% by 5. So what, 25%? I think this is the usual stuff. Improved Flame Tongue weapon. Imbuing your weapon with Flame Tongue increases your fire spell damage by 5% for 1 hour. Okay, so that's an improved. That improved Maelstrom weapon. Maelstrom weapon now increases the damage and healing spells effects by 20%. Okay, interesting. Overflowing Maelstrom. Your damage or healing spells will now consume up to 10 Maelstrom weapon stacks. Okay, I think that'll be... This is all based around Maelstrom weapon stacks and damage. Maelstrom weapon can now stack up to a maximum of 10. Okay, so I see this now. Alright, so there's a lot of builds in here that's kind of like aimed at sort of like basically doing Maelstrom and hitting basically as much Maelstrom weapon stacks as possible, so you can do big damage with, like, as we've been seeing this season with like Elemental Blast, etc. So, there we go. That's a lot. That's pretty much it, guys. That is the whole thing. I hope that helps you out with kind of figuring out things to do with Shaman in the next expansion. I think this is really interesting. Obviously, I'm going to be playing a lot of Evoker. I'm going to be focused on Evoker. I do have access to Alpha. Yay! I have access to Alpha. So I'll be streaming and I'll be making videos on Evoker as much as possible. But I think, obviously, I love Shamans. There's Shaman content's not going to stop. I will still be making Shaman content as much as I can. But I want to focus on Evoker because I think I'm going to be maining it really hard in Dragonflight. But we'll see. I mean, all of these changes are perfect. I mean, it is enough to make me think, oh, do I want to move on to Evoker? I'm loving these changes. So hopefully that'll be good. Guys, throw me a like, a subscribe, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about all of these talents. And otherwise, I'll catch you in the next video. See you.